Hey gamers, Foxfires here, bringing you an update on ArcAge. The release of Revelation 3.0 is just around the corner, going live December 10th. In the next few videos, I'll cover upcoming changes and things you might want to do to get ready. Here in part 1, I'll cover massive changes coming to farming and trade packs that will definitely impact the game's economy. Feel free to add your own ideas in the comments. First up, farming. Even if you're not a farmer, it's important to understand these upcoming changes because it will impact the economy from the ground up. Several seed and livestock items will no longer be able to be purchased for gold, rather they can only be purchased for vocation badges. You might be thinking, wait, aren't vocation badges those things people usually only get to have things like Shadagon's blessings in order to make larders? You might make tons of vocation badges all the time. But the big change isn't just that some seeds and animals will only be able to be purchased with vocation badges, it's that vocation badges will no longer be given for spending labor on tasks like farming and harvesting. Instead, the vocation badges are going to be earned from daily quests. For example, farmers' workstations may give 750 badges from their daily quests now. I am not sold on this being a good change. For one, it puts a daily cap on the number of vocation badges a player can earn, which can't be enhanced by current mechanics like using labor pots or vocation pots. Second, I hate the feeling that I have to do daily quests, especially after a couple of months of doing the same monotonous thing, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. ArcAge is already a lot about how and where you devote your time, be it the rifts or arena or trade runs, etc. This will be one more thing to eat up a bit of time. I think then that there's going to be a real supply limit on vocation badges earned after the patch. Daily quests get old, so after people spend their existing badges and get tired of doing the dailies, that's when I think the items purchased with vocation badges will really become limited. Let's take a quick look at what items will now be purchased only with vocation badges. Others have posted spreadsheets of the items and their values. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. If this sheet is accurate, look at the cost of Yadas here. 1,125 badges each. In the entire time I've played ArcAge, I've only saved up about 200,000 badges on a given main character. We'll look at how many badges the dailies grant when the PTS goes live, but to put this in current perspective, buying less than 200 Yada would completely wipe out one of my main characters. My farm alts routinely run through 200 Yada in a single round of gazebo harvests. After the patch, I and a lot of other farmers won't be able to do it this way. Yadas might become quite scarce. This is most likely going to impact things like Yada fur and handicraft yarn. Handicraft yarn gets doubly hit because it also requires bear fur, bears which now also cost 1,125 vocation badges. That's important because these kinds of materials are needed to make animal pens and the new recipes at the 230k proficiency. It may also impact leather prices. You can see that cows and water buffalo must now also be purchased with vocation badges, though less than Yada. The best way to get pelts then, going forward, may be from sheep and goats. Traditionally, each goat only gives half as many pelts as the larger livestock though. So if you're looking to churn out the same number of pelts, you'll have to feed and click through twice as many animals. That will get tedious pretty fast. I imagine then that there will be an overall decreased supply of pelts, which could raise leather prices. That of course impacts the cost of gear, since so much leather is needed to make a higher tier item. So if you're a farmer, definitely stock up on things like livestock. This isn't as easy as it sounds though, since a stack of 100 Yada, cows, or buffalo will cost 250 gold. Having multiple stacks quickly adds up to into the thousands, and there's a lot of places to spend your gold to get ready for 3.0. All hope isn't lost for pelt farmers and leather lovers though. While goat farming is more tedious to make the same number of pelts, goat costs are going to get cheaper. Again, assuming this information holds true on the PTS and then the live servers, goat costs will drop from a gold 50 to 50 silver. They also changed from preferring a temperate climate to an arid climate. I think this is to create a balance for pelt farming in temperate zones with sheep and now arid zones with goats. The changes may also make it much more appealing to have a rancher's farmhouse, which comes with a built-in animal pen that can hold 10 goats. So keep that in mind if you're going to build a new farmhouse in one of the new zones. Livestock isn't the only thing affected by vocation badge changes. I mentioned that the farmer's workstation dailies will give some vocation badges. You may remember that 3 of the 4 existing quests require ginseng. Ginseng will no longer be able to be purchased with gold. Rather, each seed will cost 90 vocation badges. That means a single seed bed of ginseng grown on an upgraded farmhouse will cost 4,500 badges. That's over 13,000 badges to do a single round of ginseng in a harvester's farmhouse seed beds. You'll want to stock up on ginseng for the Farmer's Workstation daily quests. It'll be harder to stock up on tons of seeds, since they only stack to 100. To briefly run through some of the other seeds and livestock that are now only purchasable with vocation badges, they are quinoa, oats, strawberries, yams, lilies, cornflower, poppies, apricots, bay, cherry, ginkgo, olive, orange, pomegranate, ash, bamboo, maple, pine, willow, aspen, palm, rubber, antler, blue, and white coral. For arid climate, wheat, chili pepper, cactus, aloe, mint, saffron, turmeric, jujube, moringa, birch, spruce, beans, and rye. Many of these items you may recognize as materials needed for higher tier polishes that go into armors and weapons. Others you'll recognize as needed for pack mats, like olives for Yennefer, lilies for Hasla, or cherries for Lutsong. So if you're someone who makes packs using mats that are now vocation badge only, you'll want to stock up on these items and pay close attention to how feasible it will be to maintain your runs at their current volume. This brings us to a good transition from farming to trade packs, so second up, there are massive changes to trade packs and even larder material requirements. Overall, it looks like larders could cost twice as much as they currently do in order to make. And even though larder turn-in values are supposed to be higher, so far it doesn't look like they're going to have a proportionately higher turn-in value given their new cost. This is one of the things I'm really interested in testing when the PTS opens, because right now I'm not convinced larders are going to be the viable way to go like they have been previously. This is huge for Halcyona larder makers like me. I've spent a lot of gold getting a good setup in Halcyona to crank out larders. This trade run is where I make the bulk of my gold in-game, but it might not be feasible to do this anymore. Let's break this down a little so I can show you what I mean. Again, links to the information will be in the description down below. The larder itself still requires 5 lumber, iron, and brick, but they also require 1 gold and a shiny seed. This shiny seed is an arcane grade drop obtained from farming crops and costs 6 to 7 gold each on the Korean servers. The larder pack mats themselves, hay, lemon, milk, etc. are also higher. For example, 50 milk and 30 lemon, up from the current 30 milk and 10 lemon. 20 hay instead of 5 hay. Hay is already more than 25 silver each, so needing an extra 15 hay for each larder pack would increase the cost by nearly 4 gold alone. The increased demand for hay is also likely to drive the price of it up even higher. So if you make larders and larder packs for your trade runs, I suggest stacking as many larders as you can in your inventory and make as many packs as you can before the patch. Some of the turn-in values being floated for the larder packs are only 10% higher than their current values. So this is definitely something I want to take a look at when the PTS opens. The larder cost being more than double its current cost doesn't bode well. I already mentioned how several of the standard trade pack mats will now come from seeds that can only be purchased with vocation badges. On top of this, many of the packs will also require 1 Gilda star to make. Gilda stars are going to become a prime currency again, and because they're bound, either you'll need to do a lot of runs for Gilda, or you'll need to have someone else craft the packs for you. Again, I can see how people might have a few hundred saved up, but once that stash runs out, it's going to be a lot harder to maintain a large volume of runs that require Gilda. So take a close look at how the runs you normally do are going to be affected. I mentioned earlier that there's information showing the Farmer's Workstation quests giving vocation badges. It may be because they no longer give Gilda stars. That's something we need to confirm when the PTS opens, but if it's true, that's one less way to make a few Gilda each day. It would have been possible to rack up several Gilda on each account if you had a lot of alts. You may remember that all of your alts on the same account can use your Farmer's Workstation to do the daily quests. So before the patch hits, you may want to go back to doing those dailies on your alt while they still definitely give Gilda. Each of your alts would then be able to make Gilda packs for you, though it could be a bit annoying spreading out those other pack mats across different characters. At the moment, it looks like trade house packs are going to be the way to go. They may have the least amount of changes to them, so if you find your current setup isn't going to work well, you'll probably want to plan out a new setup. Building or buying a trade house in the zone that you want might be a good option for you. Overall, with the limitations from items that require vocation badges, Gilda, or just disproportionate increases in material costs, it may be a lot harder to maintain your current volume of trade runs, and, subsequently, may be harder to make gold in the game. If you pay for Patron with Apex using in-game gold, you might want to stock up on Apex or Patron time. If it is harder to make gold, it will probably take time for the Apex markets to come down. Lastly, one new source of gold may come from contribution points from your community. The new community centers will have a workbench that crafts different items from other centers. Some are plants, some are temporary vehicles, some may be regrade emblems. When the PTS opens, we'll be able to see what centers in each zone does. Some centers might be more valuable than others. The more money spent at the workbenches, the more residents of that community will be able to make a small percentage of it as profit. To emphasize, anyone can use any of these workbenches, but only residents will be able to take a cut of the profits. To be a resident, you need to have a farm of at least 24 by 24 or a house. Crolin said that the amount of gold a resident makes will be proportionate to their contribution points, so while this initially seemed like a fun way to speculate about new gold making opportunities, if the contribution points comes down to the number of daily quests you have to do for it, we'll come full circle to the monotony of doing daily quests. In summary, no matter if you're a farmer or a trader or a weapon and armor smith, to get ready for 3.0, take a close look at your money-making setup in the game and how the patch will change it. Stock up on items you'll need, and work out a new way to make money if your current one isn't going to hold up so well. If you're going to be stocking up on a lot of items, now is a good time to pick up a storage chest, expansion scrolls, or character slots. Stay tuned for more videos, especially when we start testing things on the PTS. If you want to help me test things on the PTS, leave a comment in the video and include your PTS character name. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like or subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, gamers. I'm Foxfires, and this has been an update on ArcheAge.